Good afternoon to or good day, or good morning to our No Art, No Life viewers. And here we are at episode 39. I'm Jack Cole and David Duvall, my esteemed companion on this adventure.
It is an adventure. It's so great to be able to just talk. I wonder why everyone is not having one of these things on internet, you know?
I agree.
But ours is special because I think that we really want to say things to people about no art, no life. What have you been doing this week, Jack?
Practicing very carefully
Good. Oh, yes, carefully.
the Bach G major toccata and also the Liszt B minor ballade. And also doing some reading, if I may leap in right away before I forget. I know that there's a WNCN interview that you did with the late Russell Sherman that I've listened to more than once.
Yes, of course.
And I remember first hearing the Brahms Paganini variations on a recording of his. And in a session that you and I did very recently, you read me a passage and also asked me the question whether or not I thought genius or artistic gifts could be thwarted by the environment. And it reminded me of a passage from his book, Piano Pieces. Do you know this work?
No, I don't know this work. I've heard of it.
And it's a set of almost Marcus Aurelius-like short passages.
He was a very gifted man in many ways. Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Well, I'll just read this little passage to you because it addresses the notion of whether or not environment can be so unfavorable that perhaps it can thwart a gifted person. And maybe
This is Russell
this
Sherman.
is Russell Sherman's book, Piano Pieces.
And he's now dead, isn't he?
He is now passed, yes.
Yeah.
And do we know, before I read this passage, Benedetto Croce? Would that be the way
Oh,
we say
yes,
his
he was
name?
one of the great Italian aestheticians at the turn of the century.
Okay,
Croce, yeah.
So the passage is this. The philosopher Benedetto Croce pointed out that many people with artistic pretensions feel cheated because fate did not provide those conditions for proper study and technical development, which could have enabled them to realize the splendor of their visions. For Croce, this lament was but a consoling rationalization, masking conceptual inadequacies rather than technical deficiencies. If, in fact, a person can hear within the appropriate sounds, he will somehow find a way to produce them, and his technique will develop to the level required. Do you agree?
No.
No.
You will never be able to develop a technique that is serviceable from. Is he talking about the environment of no training and so forth, right?
I suppose. It's funny, he goes on to address piano technique very directly in the next direct passage. It says, Vladimir Ashkenazy may have had something similar in mind when he remarked that technique was but a function of rhythm. Unless one can audibilize the precise durations, the fingers will cramp and fumble. But then he says, of course, it is also nice to have light fingers and the right genes. So he does qualify it.
Yeah. Well, it's such a great question, of course. Last time we talked about the Horizon editor, Cyril Connolly.
Yes.
And he saying, you better have some right conditions because you just can't become a writer or an artist or whatever. And yeah, so many things are possible to drag you down, and you will be dragged down by the environment. Croce was an aesthetician and a very influential philosopher, Italian of the earlier part of the century. Everyone read him, everyone knew him, and so forth. He was a very influential guy. Bernard Berenson, I think, knew him well. I don't know what to say about that, except that every talent is so different. It can't be compared. There will always be exceptions to the rule, that there will be a type of amateur composer, but it will remain an amateur composer. You will not be able to, without technique and so forth, just relying on if you have that inner feeling. How many people have inner gifts to hear the music inside in an original way? And we're not talking about singing an idiotic tune or something holding in your brain for days. Those melodies, I like to get them out of my brain so my brain won't chatter with music. What are you going to do? Just start painting? You've got to really look. What do you mean, piano technique? Piano technique is only a matter of engineering, not what he says about rhythmical this or that. Yeah, or genes. You have to have, and I don't know where the genes come in, you have to have a tremendous eye coordination. You have it as a terrific sight reader. You can sit down and you can read scores of musicals and operas and whatever. I cannot do that. I started too late, I think, but I started early enough to let my sports skills, especially a baseball, which I had a lot of talent. Where was that? My father was you could see from the few times he would play that he had that. You always see someone because it manifests itself in grace, a certain way you wind up. You notice some major league pitchers on the mound, they are not as good as they could have been if they had more grace to their wind up, because they may have speed. Nobody has everything. What do you think about this?
I agree. It's remarkable. I was just looking through this on the train briefly. There are also many analogies between technique and golf technique and baseball in this book. And also the idea of environment. If I were to take one more passage for your reaction.
Sure. This is great.
In terms of the notion of a comprehensive environment in terms of Western civilization, how about this passage? John Constable observed that the art of reading nature is no less acquired than the art of reading hieroglyphics. To grasp and delineate the relationship between melody and bass is no less elusive. One may speculate that the topic of free will versus predestination should be thoroughly researched or splendidly intuited before melody and bass, the surrogates for fantasy and fate, can be properly matched. Therefore, the logical starting point for the education of a pianist might well be the study of Greek tragedy.
Well, Mr. Sherman, who I knew.
Yes, I was wondering for your reactions on many levels.
And he was certainly one of the most intelligent pianists
Yes.
That I ever knew. Is, talking pseudo-intellectual nonsense. I mean, there's so many aspects to that. What is one of them that comes to mind again that we can talk about, such as?
Do you mean in terms of the pseudo-intellectual?
Well, yeah. I mean, how many years of the learning of Greek tragedy do you have to have before you're able to understand the melody? This is the kind of thing, of course, that terrifies people away from having a little bit of extraordinary entertainment in their lives. And I'm talking about entertainment like a Bach invention or I mean, let's not go too far.
Agreed. And I think it also very much is attached to the notion that we've discussed of the false yoking of the arts.
What does that mean again?
Well, I don't know that one art, if it's really practiced in its pure form, stands an analogy to fuel the pure study of another art. So I think you're absolutely correct. This kind of presupposes the notion that we have to carry a tuitional knowledge of everything that precedes us in civilization in order to conduct ourselves in it, because none of the people who contributed to it did that themselves. They went by the subconscious. I don't think they acted in a complete notion of the sequential history behind them and then said, I now step in at this point having mastered the past, and I'll give you my present. I think maybe this is for the most part written for the student who comes who has no intellectual curiosity outside of the mere rote notion of practicing. That's the impression I got.
Well, how could they possibly understand that?
I agree.
They can't understand what he's talking about because it's claptrap.
Ha!
I mean, it's all of his theories are, in Croce's too. I mean, you're not going to come out somehow. It's again, this is an impossibility. You have to have people helping you, and you have to have a piano.
Yes.
What if you don't have a piano? I mean, what if your talent is just this much and not this much? You still have to be able to work with this because that little talent could make you very happy.
Yes.
Or sad.
Yes.
I mean, Mahler's brother committed suicide because he could not be a Mahler. He knew that his talent was less.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
see, now, David, this is something that
that's a psychologist's problem there.
But I value enormously in your candor. The phrase of Emerson that I admire more than anything is when he says, "Bring all texts to judgment," and you do not hesitate to do so. And that is what something from you that I find so reassuring.
Well, do you think a saint needs to read a book?
No.
But they have gone to so many levels higher than the usual intellectual. The intellectual is often kept back by theories like that.
Yes, and what I mean is, in reading this on the train, there's a part of a moment where I'm not quite sure what went by me, whether or not it's elevated or, as you say, and I don't even say this with disrespect to Mr. Sherman, because even the most elevated people can produce claptrap. It happens sometimes. And so I find that absolutely glorious that you had that immediate reaction, because I find an uncertainty and unevenness in this book. I respect the effort, but I'm not sure exactly if
I think you just reviewed the book very well. I didn't read the book yet, and I would like to, because, I mean, I'm not afraid of disagreeing with anyone.
Right.
I don't know or remember what my interview with him was. It probably was very good. Mm-hmm. He probably said interesting things about the music and so forth.
Well, not to saddle you with another book, but this remains behind today.
Well, I will give it to you as soon as I read it.
It can sit as long as you like, but there it is should you want to take a look at it.
Oh, sure. I can't wait, because anything about the piano or theories about it's just wonderful food for thought.
It is, yes.
And that is what no art, no life means. He was a real artist. I mean, he could really play the piano in a very intimate way. He was the first, I think, on LP to really put down the transcendental etudes, all 12, you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, on Vanguard, I believe, long ago. And he taught at Juilliard for only a small amount of time, and then went back to Boston, where he was a more heroic figure than he would be at Juilliard.
I see, okay. Yeah.
But he was someone that wowed you with, as I said, I taught myself never to look up to anyone because I can't afford a stiff neck.
That's good. I understand.
No, that's Beecher.
Well, but you employ it well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, the stiff neck always happens when you look up. That's why I don't like mountains. Oh, I say, get rid of those mountains, and especially people that are climbing rocks.
Yes.
It's so dangerous. Why do they want to? What kind of thrill do they need?
I don't know. What do you make of that?
Wouldn't the Ninth Symphony be more than enough than climbing rocks in Wyoming or wherever?
Yes.
Or Utah, knowing that you could fall any minute. I mean, it's just not that exciting.
Well, certainly, as we've said before, any kind of public piano performance is a tightrope.
Oh, yes. I mean, start playing the piano, and actually could read about that in a certain way in my article that was published in the New Criterion, and then published later on in their book of essays.
The book called The Critical Temper?
The Critical Temper. Mm-hmm. And I talk about a man who, when I was very young, he studied piano with me, and he was about 40, and did he work hard? Did he work hard? And he, I say, okay, practice your scales this way, that way. He did it, and he was the owner of a restaurant with two other people, and it was a very famous restaurant, and he was good at everything.
Mm.
This guy, whatever he touched, it was good. If he drew, it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
He was a true facility, and great charm, everything about it. He did a few movies even. His name was Calvin Holt.
As an actor, do you mean?
Yeah, as
I
a
see.
person, maybe he was acting inside of his restaurant. That's not the point. The point is that he worked, but he couldn't wait to play in public for the people that he wanted to hear him, and he was so oh my goodness! I said, no, Calvin, you can't, you don't understand. You may rent the hall, you did, piano, everything about it. You could invite everyone, but you're not ready to play in public because you have no idea. That's like from here to the moon. The moon is where you have to go there first.
Yes.
Even with your little tiny pieces. Oh, I know them all well. Don't you? Look at, I'm practicing. I play it perfectly for you. I said, Calvin, your ego is too big. Why do you need to play for people? When you do know, you will be ready, but it's certainly not now. Oh no, David, I have, and he used the word that we have made famous called flair.
Yes.
And he certainly had flair. I don't know if he used it, but so the day came, and what am I supposed to do? I'm a very young man, and I'm making a living off of him, and I go to wherever it was, and he takes his rings off, and
Yes.
that's it. Looked great.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he starts trembling beyond belief. He seemed fearless in anything he ever did.
Yes.
The way he talked to his customers, and then he met the real thing, the piano in public. Oh,
In the Civil War literature,
he fell apart, of course.
Yes. Well, in the Civil War literature, you may know the expression that veterans would ask of green soldiers. The expression was about battle, have you seen the elephant? And I often, though I know I'm not talking about a mortal life and death contest, but I often mutter to myself when preparing, have I seen the elephant with this? And the elephant is terrifying.
Oh, the elephant is terrifying.
Yes.
And a male, I've always wanted to see a mastodon or a mammoth.
Yes, that would be quite something.
Or a saber-toothed tiger, at least.
Why
did evolution tame them all down?
I don't know, because it's funny you mentioned that, David. Some of my favorite extinct animals are the Ice Age megafauna. As you said, the saber-tooth, the mammoths, all the things that roamed North America when it was covered with ice.
Yes.
Why are they so appealing?
I don't know, but I mean, I like them more than the dinosaurs. Those are those are klutzaks. They're klutzes. But
yes, they are.
But they're just
Yes.
There's nothing about them interesting. I'm amazed. I mean, the tame this and the lion. I want that lion to be 5 times bigger than he is, with teeth coming.
Yes, presumably we had them here in North America.
We had them, and now
Nature.
Darwin made them into nothing.
And put them only in Africa. I don't understand why that happened.
No, they were all over Asia.
Yes. But I mean, there was in North America, as we're agreeing, in North America,
Tigers
lions
too. Delacroix painted tigers and lions in Morocco.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Remarkable.
Probably they hunted them away as the human being, wants to. Isn't this terrible that you play the piano on these damn plastic keys now because the law says you can't use ivory from elephant tusks.
Yes.
And I think that the elephants, after they die, would have been very happy to give to the pianists who has such a wonderful feeling from the ivory compared to that damn plastic.
Yes.
And that the dead elephant would say, "Oh, go on, Mr. Horowitz or Mr. Arau. I mean, I want you to have the most wonderful tactile sense, Mr. Brendel or Mr. Gavrilovich or whoever."
Yes.
And the elephant itself, is a very musical beast. They have a language of music to themselves.
Yes.
Everyone thinks it's they're talking these. No, this is their they talk through their language of music.
And you're right. What an image to have in the head that so many of the great virtuosos of the past, in effect, were hanging on splinters of tusks when they
Oh,
played.
it's so wonderful.
Yes.
And the elephants would be so happy to know that they were contributing to the most important aspect of art
Hmm.
and life. And here they are being shot by these goons.
Hmm.
Everyone that shoots an elephant must be put in prison for life at least.
I understand.
Oh
I do.
my God, what a sin to ever kill an elephant.
Mhm.
And for only their tusks anyway.
Yes.
What is this? What kind of animal is this human being? This super ape that we are. We're still an ape, I guess.
I suppose.
I don't know. I'm crazy when it comes to this idea
No, I
that
don't-
you go to a piano, oh my God,
Yes.
we can't have ivory keys anymore.
Right. It's stunning when one feels the real ivory key. It is certainly a different feeling. It's the beauty of a sense of traction that isn't just merely the tactile traction. It does seem as if one is making contact with nature that allows for a greater security, because the flop sweat, if you will, of the terrified pianist on plastic keys is a terrible kind of slipperiness.
And it's a different kind of sweat that's pouring too.
Yes, it is.
And how it retains itself. These
Yes.
plastic keys are horrible.
Yes.
Did you ever think of plastic keys being a subject that we were going to talk about? It's a very important one.
It is, very much so.
And yeah, we have to abide by the law.
Hmm.
We can't go to Ethiopia and find a elephant and say, "Dear elephant, I'm a pianist and a good one. Jack and I need to have your tusks." And that elephant would look at us with those sad eyes,
Yes.
I understand what they have done to you in the world. They have plasticized you in every way, haven't they?
Mhm.
And all these people kill us to have tusks. What do they do with those tusks, these killers? Because they make a fortune from
I
them.
don't know. I really don't know. Yes, I guess trophies on walls, I suppose.
My God.
On another theme, I was thinking, David, you asked me what I was up to this week, and as I think of practicing, and as I re-engage with practicing at full effort, a lot of things come back to mind. This may seem like a silly thing, but when I'm walking around through the day, sometimes I will, not with shame, but with a degree of private comedy, wonder if other pianists have this feeling. Are there passages from pieces with which you've engaged that no matter how much you return to it, in a sense the technical facility up for it never improves, and yet we squander endless hours returning to those passages, sometimes as small as maybe a fraction of a measure? And I'll confess one of them to you. For example, I have no idea how many hours in my life I have tried to render the double thirds at the beginning of Opus 2, number 3 of Beethoven with absolute technical certainty. Do you have passages like that?
Everyone does.
Well, right.
But I facilitate them instantly. I wouldn't play. I mean, Schnabel wouldn't play. He would take the opening,
Yeah.
and he would divide them between the hands.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you waste a minute?
Okay, well, I guess maybe this has to do with putting one's head above another, and a teacher implying to me that distribution of the notes also implies a musical emphasis that we should try to respect. That if Beethoven delegated it to double thirds, that the voicing, in a sense, would be different than if we changed the fingering to admit.
Well, then practice so you don't have that you will have the same voicing. It can be done.
Right.
Yeah, much faster than wasting your time trying to. Nobody can play double thirds except these great virtuosos
Yes.
who started the etude of Chopin in double thirds and the toccata of an early age. The toccata
Yes.
of Czerny will give you the great double the Czerny toccata, Opus 93, I think. That's a wonderful, wonderful work for young people to start double thirds. However, or thirds as they call them now. But I'm not going to waste my time on anything that I can't.
Okay.
Horowitz would say, Look at did you know that I left out this note?"
Yes.
You see, things like that.
Yeah.
And of course, he rearranged anything and everything. So did everyone. You think Liszt didn't rearrange his Transcendental Etudes? It's all there waiting to do. Yeah, I play the 10th Transcendental Etude.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I either leave out a little left-hand note, or
Okay.
has anyone ever come to me and say, "You are a real beast. You have taken away the musical." Did I have any sweep in it? If I had some sweep in it, if I was soaring a little, if the melody moved you, that's quite enough for me.
Yes.
You didn't tell me anything about that. You told me some pedantic thing that only a horror story of a teacher would tell you.
I understand. I'm just telling you how the Puritan tradition can insert itself, as you know, into the piano
Of
world.
course it does.
Yeah.
And every time you read a score, you say, "Oh, but look at Liszt said this, or Chopin said this, and I never did that little diminuendo or something."
Mm-hmm. Right.
You say, "Oh, am I a bad boy?"
Mm-hmm.
Nobody hears anything.
I know. Yes. Anyway, that is a passage that I know that is probably a study in my own flawed Puritanism when I look back at how I unremittingly tried to do the thirds in the beginning of Opus 2, number 3 of Beethoven.
Do you think Beethoven on his little Streicher wooden piano in 1798 when he composed that Opus 2 number 3 didn't do the same thing? What do you think Beethoven was? Are you joking?
Well, I'm just
No, it's a
confessing.
subject that makes me mad because people
Yes.
waste hour after hour trying to do things that can be done within a second.
Within a second. Yes. Exactly. With a little bit of redistribution.
What kind of creative minds are these robots playing the piano? Watching, Let's go back to Cortot. Someone said, "Well, but Mr. Cortot, you don't follow any of the markings."
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, sir, monsieur, the markings are for unimaginative people."
That's a great answer.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Every day that Schumann woke up, he probably said, "Gee, I should go back and remark everything because I don't think I was right."
Mm-hmm.
I asked Copeland, "Did you ever think you're absolutely right about your markings?" "Never," he said, "never."
Mm-hmm. Okay, I believe him. Yes.
Why in that picture? What does my hand start saying to me? "You can't go that direction."
May I reach for that picture?
Sure. I just finished that yesterday.
Yes.
It's just charcoal on canvas.
Mhm. So I think it's fully in the screen.
Yeah, it's a what? What did I say? Oh, look at the nose there. Look at that. There's nothing about this that's correct. I have no interest in. There's your ear. There's your eyes. There's your hair. There's some sort of cravat, some buttons. Do I ask myself, what would Rembrandt have said?
Mhm.
What would he have said? Did I go here with the left hand? I could do that with the left hand or the right hand. It doesn't matter.
All right, well, here's my question, just for the sake of fun. In the plastic arts, does a point come at which the markings then become absolutely finalized? Or, because I'm familiar with the term, the idea that a painting can be overworked, is that a term that one uses?
Mm-hmm.
But, though a painting can be overworked, at the same time, is it never finished?
Same time, it's never finished, as Picasso says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, because you will find I once saw a painting of mine hung that was done, and I said, "Oh my God," I hadn't seen it in years. It's like, oh God, if I could only put a little red there.
All right. Well, you helped me with the notion of distribution as a mere.
I hope that
Pianists
all
in
the
this
pianists
respect.
listening, and I'm supposed to be something of an authority on the piano literature, of which I think I am. But I'm also an authority in my mind of how a teacher should teach people.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to teach them to make sure that the hours are not going to be wasted.
Mm.
Why are you going to sit at a piano to do something that you could rearrange? I'm not saying disrespect for the notes. Your first respect as an interpreter is you hit all those notes. I don't care how you do it, as Beveridge Webster said to Stanley Waldorf when he was studying the Weber Sonata with him. You play that with your nose. I don't think anyone can really get it right. That put your what does it matter? We're trying to. The composers are not fallible when it comes to notation as well. Nor are they trying to help you play it. They are writing to the theoretical construct that is correct on the page. You wouldn't want Liszt to tell you every measure. Okay, now in reality, I took this chord and I didn't even play it.
Yes.
Harold Bauer at the end of a recital was playing the Franck Prelude Aria and Finale, or the Prelude Chorale and Fugue. Those are his two great solo pieces, long pieces, and. So some great connoisseur, which you always have at every recital, they come and you should never really see anyone because they'll always put you down or say something,
Yes.
Oh yes, I heard Lepati do that in Vienna,
yes.
and he did it this way, and I want to, you want to kill him.
Yes.
So Harold Bauer is totally adventurous with the text, as we know in his Schumann editions, where he doesn't even tell us all the time what he's doing, but what he's doing is always more interesting than what Schumann is doing. You see, he's making it easier for you, and he's rewriting it because Schumann has so many problems with notation. So Bauer, whose autobiography is called My Book, and it's so boring. It's the most boring autobiography because he never can criticize anything. He's just such a gentleman.
Interesting, because usually when you cite a book, it's with great praise. Here's one of the rare instances.
No.
What is the name of his autobiography?
My Book.
The name
Harold
of
Bauer.
It's called My Book.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a remarkable title. All right.
And so Bauer, receives the person, and the person says, "Oh, I'm so glad that you played the Franck, the correct way in the left hand because everyone blurs it or something. I don't know." Franck is not a great master of piano writing, great master of chromaticism, and a marvelous organ-like sound.
What do you think of the piano part for the violin sonata? I always thought that was very...
It's very hard, too hard.
It's hard, yes.
Too hard.
But you don't think it speaks well in the piano?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
That's, to me, that's not as great as a work as Franck, although they think it's a great work. It is a great work, but nothing like the Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue. I think that's perfect.
So you think that would be more worth one's time?
Oh yes, I don't play accompaniments. I don't have time to be a collaborator. I have no talent for it.
David, I'm sorry.
No.
Who was the one who arranged...
I want to finish the
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Sorry. So the guy says, everyone plays it so blurry. I mean, and you played it so... And Bauer says, "Well, sir, I didn't even play those notes."
Yes.
He left them out.
In the Franck work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the guy heard them as they were. He felt they were clear. You see?
Yes.
He's trying to impress the artist, Harold Bauer, saying, I didn't even play them. I think it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. So David, was it on one of your radio programs that I heard an arrangement of the Franck A major violin sonata for piano and violin for piano alone?
No.
No?
No, I never had that.
Someone did that.
Unless it was on one of our live concerts.
Okay. I just know that I know of such a piece.
How did it go? I don't see how it could. It's such a great violin piece.
It is. It didn't seem like, or maybe I only read it through. I'm not sure. It's a bit of esoterica that I picked up somewhere, and I usually
there's I think Rampal's transcription of it for flute.
For flute,
piano,
yes, that I've heard.
Yeah, Franck is a composer that is not played much anymore.
No.
I don't know why. Why do you think?
It's funny. This just came up in a conversation recently. The idea that Franck has seemed to vanish from the canon.
Oh yeah, there wasn't an orchestra that didn't do the D minor symphony.
Yes. And what is that really pretty, very strong work for piano and orchestra. What is that?
The Variation Symphonique.
Yes, yes.
15-minute, beautiful piece. Beautiful.
Everyone used to play that.
Everyone used to play it.
Yes.
Bob Preston won the Juilliard competition with it, my friend. This is ridiculous. Franck himself did not compose anything worthwhile till he's about 60 years old, 50 years old. And all of his late works are worthy of constant performance. They just unfortunately have no impressionism in them. And the impressionists that followed him that were born, in the 60s and 70s, like Ravel and Debussy, were very precocious. And by 1900, I think he died, Franck, around 1891. I think that the French Impressionists just smothered him over a period of time. The Prelude, Aria, and Finale is almost never played. The Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue, which was always played, is never played. The Quintet is such a sexy work for piano and strings. The oratorios, the organ pieces, so they're all playable. The String Quartet in D major, they're huge, like 45 minutes and things like that, but that has no meaning. I mean, we're used to hearing Mahler and on and on. So it's a good question. I think that some of the true faith that Franck had, it was a real faith in God and whatever I don't know the religion. He was from Belgium.
Okay.
I call some of his music like in the genre, what the highest peaks of religious romanticism.
Somewhat like the way you characterize Liszt's Catholicism being a romantic Catholicism?
Well, that it is in his mind and his conditioning. Remember, I think even Liszt may have had what we all retain all our lives, is that those horrible conditionings that we get early on. And he was so conditioned by his father's Catholicism and so forth. And it was very romantic. When he was in a desolate little part of Hungary, and the father made it look so attractive, and it became so embedded into his bones and his own innate goodness and nature that Liszt remained, a most amazingly provocative discussions on Catholicism in his letters. He really is a great Catholic composer, and in some of the things like Saint Elizabeth, you have a kind of chromaticism that Franck enters into, but in his own, almost, if you go on it in colors, it's in a dark brown chromaticism at times.
Liszt's Saint Elizabeth, you mean?
No, yeah, that's what I mean. But I mean, when it comes to Franck, it doesn't matter if it's string quartet. It doesn't matter if it's the organ opening type of the Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue, which, by the way, Arthur Rubinstein's performance to me is so magisterial because he stays away from any of the inside turmoil. He wants it to be a clear structure, and that fugue is not easy to make a clear structure, that's for sure. And I love Franck. I love the D minor symphony, but I think well, look, why would Roussel, who is a great composer, really a great master of the symphony, I love him. Why would Roussel not be played? It's only Debussy, only Ravel, and what else? Some foray.
Yeah, Roussel has a set. Is it a set of variations that are thought to be very venerable?
I don't know the variations. I don't.
What is the work that Roussel has?
He has a suite.
A suite, okay.
A suite and some others. Piano Concerto, by the way, which is really dry and witty. And he's not a Parisian composer. He's from another part where the music seems to be different. I don't know why Roussel's third and fourth are not played every day somewhere, let alone, I mean, how can you imagine? You don't hear a Dvorak symphony anymore, except occasionally the New World, which I've come to detest.
Because it's so hackneyed?
Yeah, but I just don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that Negro spiritual anymore. I mean, and he soups it up.
Yes. Now, David, if we go back to collaborative playing and the problem that a student will, of course, encounter, I, like you, felt not that I was above all these masterworks that had collaborative roles, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
However, I too felt simply that my time, with my limited ability, made me think I want to simply have it to myself. And
it's exactly with me. With my limited ability,
okay,
with my inability to learn quickly, I'm not interested in playing a Brahms violin or cello sonata or anyone else. Or I love them. I love them very much. The Schumann Quintet. I can't go and work on them. I don't have the time.
So, but my question is, were there works outside of the obligations that we all get when we're students in the conservatory setting to have to do things like that? Were there pieces that you found irresistible as a pianist, knowing you could only get at the piano part if you conceded to work with someone else? For me, the Franck Sonata was one of them, where I loved the piece so much that I sought it out.
It's wonderful. It's a major piano part.
It really is.
God,
yes.
It's so hard.
It's really hard.
No, I would never. I love the Rachmaninoff cello sonata so much. One summer, I listened to it at 3 a.m. every day during the summer. It was one of my great summers.
Yes.
Paul Tortelier, great cellist, and I think Aldo Ciccolini, great pianist. Well, thank you, both of them, because you gave me a great summer. Imagine hearing it every day. I loved it. I have not heard it since, and I don't want to ever hear it again necessarily. But I couldn't get enough of it.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't even think of getting to the piano part, looking at it. I have no interest in such a thing.
Okay, I understand.
Because I don't have the time.
I understand that.
Just like at 18, I stopped baseball. I had to become an adult, which was going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Let alone, playing children's games.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So you think I'm a little mad?
No, I think that's a very sound report about that.
Yeah,
because the pressure comes on right away for chamber music from everyone's peers.
No, I know. And, I got away with it as I do everything.
By?
Yeah, I just, I just said to so-and-so teacher that, you're supposed to play this forehand piece, Hindemann said, I just couldn't do it. And they just let it alone.
Well, Hindemith,
he's hard.
Collaborative parts are wicked. The trumpet concerto, I've had the obligation of doing that. The flute, the trumpet sonata, the flute sonata, hard stuff.
Yes. I'm very satisfied with my small gift. I'm only trying to, better it and play a few pieces okay. I never like days to go by where I'm not practicing something.
I see you have the Liszt Sonata on the rack right now.
The Liszt Sonata is back to me. I mean, think of the friendship I have with that. And I don't know it at all.
Now, did you attack it today a bit?
Yep.
Where did you start?
Fugue.
The fugue.
The fugato.
What a fugue.
I played it in public a couple of times, and when I played it, I really, you're talking about what is everyone has always said. Oh God, I've messed up in the fugue. I saw Bolette, one of the great Liszt players, literally stop.
Wow.
Well, it's not that difficult.
That's what I was saying, as fugues go. But I will say, in terms of its invocation as a developmental function, I will go out on the limb and say, well, you know how I feel about the Liszt Sonata, period, in terms of Western civilization.
You love it deeply.
I love it above maybe, meaning the one object I would save if I was told save something on planet Earth.
Good plan.
So the fugue, I think, is perhaps the most incredible invocation of a developmental use of that form I think in any developmental moment, where I don't think it's a cop-out of mere complexity. You were talking about how, for example, in the Virgil Thompson portraits, that you felt that there is a facility that one can gain that is in a sense above true oral command, that if you know all the rules of species counterpoint, eventually, even without knowing how it sounds in your mind's ear, you know
Absolutely.
what the sound is going to be in terms of the likelihood of its efficacy.
Right.
Now, the same thing I think happens when composers fall back on a fugue, perhaps in development sections. But I've never encountered a fugue where I feel that it's part of the ambiguity that Liszt is working on in terms of form, where it's both a fugue and yet somehow better than a fugue. It doesn't seem to have those obligations of counterpoint. It is just this magnificent
Yeah,
thing
no,
that comes.
absolutely. It's amazing, as you say, coming as it does within this great drama.
Mhm.
It's actually quite easy.
Yes, physically it's not hard. That's
But
why do you think it would thwart someone like George Boulez?
Many people,
Just from
many people,
fatigue?
they fear it. They come to it, they fear it. And when I played it, I feared it too all of a sudden. And yet, I had never had any problems, but fear entering into the
Yes.
stream of things
Yeah.
will stop you. Or you'll muddle it. I don't remember how, I don't know if I stopped, but I had a,
Okay.
don't listen to anyone.
Listen to anyone's fears about
Yes,
sections.
a fear
Yes.
will, it will
Yes.
grow. It
Yes.
will, you know.
Mm-hmm. But talk about the grandeur of the ambiguity of the Liszt Sonata's form. At that moment, the fugue, though it is the ultimate germ of development, is also acting like a recapitulation, as if it's a literal reinvocation of the first pages. And yet here it's a reinvocation with this seemingly antiquated form that doesn't sound Bachian at all.
No, oh no.
And yet it's
No.
following the rules of the subject, counter subject. And yes, it also has that unique, universal hand that Liszt seems to be able to give, and I'm just stealing that from you, where it plays under the hand with so much security.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing
Oh,
work.
it just, to work on the piece it's you're living in mountain air. It's just,
Living in someone else's consciousness almost.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and what a consciousness.
Yes.
What
Mhm.
a consciousness. What a complexity.
Mm-hmm.
This work, God, I wish everyone in the world could practice it.
Yes. You're right.
You certainly wouldn't have all these wars.
No, in a way, it's a better piece to practice than to imagine having to only realize it in its full sequence, start to ending, without stopping it. To live in it
Yeah.
is quite a blessing.
Yes, a wonderful thought. I like that, and I agree. And it never bores you,
No.
and you never know it.
And that's another thing that really moved me. When I walked by your piano, it wasn't open to merely the first page. It was open to, and not even the beginning of the fugue. I always think of almost in any edition of the Liszt Sonata, it takes 3 pages usually for the fugue to fit. And I think you are 1 page flipped into it, if I remember,
Yeah,
over my left
yeah.
shoulder. And it's unmistakable. It's like a face that you see on a Manhattan street, even though there may be thousands at lunchtime, and you know that face. That fugue cannot be missed
No,
in print.
The whole sonata is one of the great works of art
It is.
in any
Mhm.
form.
Yes.
Rao was even wrong when he called it the 33rd Beethoven sonata. I know what he's getting at, of course.
Mhm.
However, it stands as a mountain peak
Mhm.
alone.
It does.
In the
Yes.
dedicated to the great Schumann. Think of it as
I
friend.
agree. You know, oftentimes it will sound like a lonely invocation, but the word stands isolated. I think of that as the absolute bit of praise or utterance of praise that we can give to it. It stands alone.
And what is this? Any hand in the world can play it if they had the technique.
Yes, it admits of basic practicing. It doesn't have absolutely baffling, in my opinion, baffling leaps.
Nope.
That has no double notes in it.
No.
Not a single. We were talking about thirds in Opus 2, number 3.
By the way, in the fugue, those thirds, I rearrange
Yes,
them.
you can easily redistribute.
Of course,
those.
of
Yes,
course.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that probably even serves the voice leading to redistribute them there. It's absent. It doesn't have anything.
I hope that a lot of pianists are hearing this, and certainly if you're not a pianist, these are very wonderful universal remarks that we're talking about within the music, unless I'm overestimating myself here in our discussion. But I think that it's understandable. Yes, these are not easy things they're things to ponder on and to agree or disagree. No art, no life. Believe me, there is for me no life at all. I was saying to my class on Tuesday at the church, 71st and Broadway. Please come if you're in New York. 6:30. Pianoevenings.com. It'll tell you everything. And I was saying that Chopin. We had just had a Japanese woman play a Chopin fantasy in F minor, and I said, I've said it before, people. I would not want to be alive at all if there was no Chopin. What would be the point of living? No Chopin? No Beethoven? What?
Do you feel that history made them inevitable?
No.
Meaning, could we live in an alternative universe where the result of civilization would not have brought them about?
Well, do you think there's an alternative universe?
No, I don't really.
But I can't even say that I don't really, because God knows what.
Oh, yes, it's true.
Who knows?
Right.
I'm telling you, if that alternative universe did not have Chopin or Beethoven, they would be a very less universe, and I wouldn't want to live there either.
I understand. Yes.
Then I say this universe is quite enough for me.
Yes. Well, see there, David, that's the ultimate optimistic statement from you. In a sense, you're arguing that we live in the best of all possible worlds because you wouldn't want to trade it for another cosmos.
That's right. You got me on that.
Lest those things were missing there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Oh no, I stay in this universe. I don't want a universe without Chopin, Beethoven, Liszt.
All right.
Pianos.
Yes.
Painting.
Yes.
Well, what would there be?
Agreed.
I mean, there must be something much higher than us then, huh? And in that case, I will take a little trip when I can to the alternate universe and see if what they have is better than we have. That's, I think that's a practical statement.
It is. Yes, well, I'm glad we went through that. And if I may return to the Liszt Sonata, I feel that anyone who's never encountered it and yet has no knowledge of the piano, it certainly, I think, will reveal itself in repeated listenings. Certainly the modern recording is a boon for someone who would have curiosity to wish to see if what we're saying is true. It may seem cryptic at first, but gosh, even the very economy, I think, would be shocking to a listener. I think even an untrained layman in listening to art music will suddenly, after many listenings, realize, wow, each bit of this comes from the point of origin.
Yeah.
So
this is an extraordinary work that Liszt would never try to duplicate again or imitate.
Yes.
And it stands as a mountain peak of a mind so extraordinary that you just can't believe it's happening, especially if you have a chance to read the score while you're doing it. Or I do say, try if you can, dear audience, to learn how to read music. It's so much easier than you think.
Thank you for saying that, David. I said that no less than 24 hours ago. And I didn't prompt you, did I? You just volunteered that.
Of course.
I agree. I ventured that I said within 30 minutes I could say what the principles were, and that once you knew those principles, everything else was simply infinite permutations of the applications of those simple rules.
Absolutely, and what a boon!
Yes.
Oh my goodness, what kind of listening that you can have. You start becoming something of the composer.
Yes.
I want to say that once you are into great art, you really are not going to be satisfied with the trash that this trashy culture gives you every minute of the day. You are going to become maybe a little more discriminating right from the beginning. I do not know how people listen to the stuff they listen to. I'm shattered by the junk. I can't bear the music of these television series, which they buy, you know.
Yes.
They buy the same score for every one.
Especially when film music used to be very elevated.
Oh, yes.
Do you think it's simply because people don't know better?
Partly the costs. They used to have orchestras, right? And,
yes.
Oh, you hear this chimey piano throughout at the most incredible time.
Yes.
As soon as they kiss, you have to have the chimey piano. And
it's always in the same register.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
Every other movie, almost all movies are ruined by music. Isn't that something? Really ruined.
Can you think of some examples where you think the film
Everything
is
I've
strong?
seen,
Where you can think where the movie is strong, but you think the score is weak?
The movie is always weak when there's music behind it with words, and that begins within. I mean, every Hollywood movie. I've been seeing movies that I sit there. I'm tired. I use them to think, but I'm also watching them, and I'm screaming, "Get that music out! This is a good scene."
Do you mean
music?
Oh, you mean
no
no
I don't
music?
want any. I don't want
thought
to
you
hear
were
any
talking
of
about
it.
scores that have lyrics.
Oh.
Is that what you were talking about a few seconds ago?
Rock and roll lyrics. Now they put the name of the performer underneath.
Yes.
Underneath bird chirping. Where are those birds? Where are
You mean
those
during
birds?
the closed captioning?
Yeah, closed captions.
Yes.
Since I'm half deaf, thank God I can hear music, but speech I have a little trouble with. As they say, you don't want to be a sissy when you're an old man, but you become one.
Was there a quote very much like that from The Grace of Age essay?
Yes, Betty
attributed
Davis's
to Betty
quote.
Davis?
Yeah,
Yes.
old age is not for sissies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
She would have the authority to say something like that. With
well, she was great.
Real
she was
dash.
great, but I never loved her.
Well,
She's not as good as what they say she is.
Do you mean as an actress, or do you mean as a woman on screen?
Woman on screen and as an actress, it's always basically the same.
It is, and yet is that sameness of...
Well, she's much better than the others often.
Right.
But she's still not good enough. That is a very important point. We have accepted mediocrity, high, middle, low, so easily in our society that we don't really ever get to see higher than the mediocrity, which will almost never be attained again. I love to see good mediocrity now. You're not going to get it.
Right. Do you think her movies...
Simi Horowitz knows that because she interviewed me once in a great article, and and she said, asked me about it, and I said, no, we don't have a chance. And if you only listen, and by the way, you don't even know how many good movies have so many good Chopin melodies in it, or Schumann.
True.
Those are the times that you say, oh, Betty Davis is really great. No, the music behind her is.
Yes.
When she plays the Appassionata in your favorite film.
Oh, and Deception. Well, I love that film.
Oh, well, that's a very unusual one with a very, very underestimated actor. I know that Francis will agree with me, and that is Paul Henreid.
Yes.
In Deception, he's wonderful.
He
but
is.
in it is the greatest character actor in the history of film, and it's not Edward G. Robinson.
You mean Claude Rains?
Claude Rains.
Well, in that movie, he's spectacular. Now, could it be that Betty Davis, with her monochromatic approach, is brilliant in her single color, so to speak?
Oh, yeah.
But the reason her movies are so great is she's surrounded by these incredibly varied palettes of these character actors, like a Claude Rains, who, like, let's say in The Adventures of Robin Hood, in order, because there are multiple heavies in that movie, if you recall, there's the Sheriff of Nottingham, and he's Prince John, and there are other villains. So he made the conscious decision to play an effete-sounding prince. And yet when you hear him suddenly in another movie like Deception, here's this masculine presence in which his voice isn't even altered that much, and yet it's as if he's a different person, though I also have the comfortable reassurance knowing that it's also Claude Rains. Like when we have a pianist to whom we become attached. The composer is still rendered depending on what the piece is, and yet there's also a reassurance that there's a flexibility but also a reliability in the communicator. And I think Claude Rains is like a great pianist in that sense. Whereas Bette Davis is someone maybe who's only facile in one kind of piece. Though I love her at the same time.
No, I know that you do, and I can't say I love her. I say I admire Bette Davis. Claude Rains is an artist.
Yes.
Bette Davis is a she studies her role and gives it its interpretation.
Yes.
Based upon a good personality. She's a little too short, if you notice.
Yes.
I watch everything,
Yes.
in a good movie, and those movies, of course, are fascinating. I don't know if there are that many masterpieces, in my opinion, from the great days of, but every movie has something to take away, even if it's a piece of slang that has been lost to forever.
Well, it's funny, you mentioned the movie I love so much, Deception, with the triumvirate of Bette Davis, Paul Henreid, and Claude Rains. That exact trio appears in the movie Now Voyager.
Oh, is that a good one?
What
With the cigarette?
Oh, it's tremendous. And you want to talk about slang, there's the great phrase that they end that film with, let's not ask for the moon when we can have the stars.
Yes.
Now,
and it's not a corny phrase at
no,
all.
it's not.
No, it's a tremendous idea.
And talk about the invocation of music. Now, do you feel Max Steiner does good service in the intense, almost mawkish romantic quality that he gives to the music, and yet I can't resist it?
All the time. He's one of the best.
Yes.
I know that Francis Romano probably likes him. He's one of the fans of our show in North Carolina.
Okay.
And he always likes when we speak of the old films
Yes.
and so forth. And he knows more than I do, or not more than you do.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I love the movies, and I don't know why I never thought of being an actor. It would be such fun.
Well, that's
wouldn't
funny because people have asked me whether or not you have had that part of your life.
An actor?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Never. I grew up watching all of those. Never in my life did I say, "Gee, wouldn't it be?" They were always so alive to me,
Yes.
and so real in a certain way,
Yes.
that I never thought that they were not real. Are they really memorizing roles or something?
But didn't you tell me that you had a high school staff at Julius Caesar?
Yes, I was an actor. I'm sorry.
All right, I remember. Okay.
I was an actor, yes.
Oh, okay.
I won the part of Mark Antony in the
Yes.
school production of Julius Caesar, and I totally messed it up.
How?
I started laughing.
Because
I saw some ketchup on the... If you have tears, prepare to shed them now.
Yes. Yes.
Cassius or whatever.
Yes.
Mark Antony's... and the tears became laughter. And the whole audience started laughing.
Yes.
And I thought, I had made the greatest blunder of my terrible life. I have screwed up Shakespeare in public. And I know that that's not what stopped me from acting. I remember I wanted to have this Shakespeare thing. I liked that play, and that was gonna, so I auditioned and I won.
Okay.
I had 2 or 3, and one was an actor who had studied acting.
Yes. Now that poses a question.
If you have tears prepare to shed them now. And I knew, and it could bring it back in about a minute if I looked at it.
You mean the memory of the words?
Did it. No, I did it so hard to win that.
Mm-hmm. Now, David, do you feel? Because I know there's a distinction. I don't mind appearing publicly, rendering the notes of another man, but the few times that it was offered to me to act, I knew inherently I could not render the words of another man. Why do you think that may be? Is it because music is prevaricating and vague, and I don't feel as responsible for those ideas because they can be interpreted with greater degrees of ambiguity, whereas to take on words, I don't wish to be seen to be the author of words or ideas that I don't believe. And I remember once, after giving a lecture recital in graduate school, I was flattered that someone approached me and said that they thought I'd be good for a part.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So I went to the reading, and lo and behold, there were things I just couldn't say.
Yes, I know what you're saying, and I've said this many times.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I was offered a commercial.
Yes.
Well, no one's offering it, but I'm
Okay.
saying, I need the money, of course, and I take it, and if it was bad script, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to watch that commercial ever, knowing that I am spouting out words that I can't stand.
But you could act it enough to have it recorded.
Yeah, maybe, because
Okay.
I do it for the money,
I
you know, or
understand that.
something.
Yes,
But
okay.
I've often said, how could they stand these movies that they're in? How could they read that crap that they're reading?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they took their craft as an actor seriously, they hardly ever do. There's only a very few real
Mm-hmm.
film stars.
Mm-hmm.
Most actors are just, people that are full of vanity and narcissism and would love to. I
Mm-hmm.
never had that narcissism in my
Mm-hmm.
life. It was just, why would I want to do anything over and over again in a movie? So you see, what I did, of course, was I messed up my one time in public with
Mm-hmm.
the stage work.
Okay.
I never would think of acting because I could not do it again.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I would do it again so differently that the director would hit me.
Yes.
I have no interest in words
Mm-hmm.
being put out in a story from
It's funny that you say that, because as a musician working in musical theater, I found it difficult once the show was frozen to have a stage manager come to me and mention that tempos were shifting when I was conducting it. And I thought, well, that's my prerogative, and I feel as a person who doesn't want to be bored out of his mind to do something. But I understand in a collective thing where the director has said, that's it, and this is going to run 60 times, that's their right to make that complaint. But I think, as in the same vein as what you're saying, that once you have done it, it's hard to return to it.
For me, yeah.
Yes.
These are basically robots. I
Mhm.
look at acting very critically, far more critically than my pianists playing
Mhm.
in my classes. Let's
Mhm.
say Tuesday. I'm always like amazed. How are they getting through it without memory slips? How are
Mhm.
they?
Yeah.
I can't do it, but I'm still I'm critical, but nothing compared to. In fact, I'm not critical compared to
Mhm.
if I see a Hollywood actor
Mhm.
acting badly, and it's partly because of the script.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to see the movie I was in.
I understand that. I do.
And also, musically, I can't stand words with music ultimately after I have grasped the best part of the Schubert song in me.
Yes.
I don't want to hear anyone talking German.
Mhm.
I don't want to see Tristan and Isolde with the stage flooded with spit, because
Yes.
of.
Mhm.
To me, it's a lesser art. The highest art is always instrumental.
Mhm.
No words to pin me down.
Mhm.
I think that's what you're saying. Also, you don't want to be pinned down to someone else's words
Yes.
that you yourself would not say.
Yes.
It's a deep integrity in a sense.
I guess. Yes.
I wouldn't take this commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they live with themselves seeing those idiotic commercials or the movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're so bad.
You're making me think again of Tuesday nights, your classes. You mentioned the Chopin Fantasy. What else was on Tuesday night's program?
I don't remember. That means the performances were. Oh, I think the Danse Macabre with Anna Cellist and Dmitri Cellist.
Oh, forehand arrangement?
Forehand arrangement. And I don't remember.
Okay.
At this minute, I only remember the Chopin. And I only remembered, of course, the first waltz, which was so alien to the way that I play it myself.
The first Chopin waltz.
Yeah, all the way. It sounded very interesting, but it was quite wrong because it was it went over the borderline of what that rhythm was.
I see.
You have to honor the composer's rhythmical intent.
So you mean it almost violated the notational values?
It did.
Okay.
It did.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Well, that doesn't mean anyone in the audience knew that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that's not even important that they know it. I mean, I want people to get the charm that is inherent in any Chopin work or the drama. I want that audience to hear great music, and then they will not go to junk. And they will certainly not want to hear all of this sentimental crap set to bad music. I can't take these rock and rollers, as you know, or rap, or any of the terrible, terrible things that words are made to do. Slaves to terrible tunes and few harmonies, you know.
Agreed, yes.
There's no one writing music of any value now in the popular industry. Don't buy any of these. They all travel with guns, you know, with their bodyguards having guns.
The actors, you mean?
Yeah, no, the rap singers.
The rap singers, yes.
The actors are no longer stars. You never know who their names are.
I understand. I know.
I always say, please, if that in the series, let me see the name of the woman with the face next to it. Why don't they do that so we know that Greta Bartholomew is this woman?
Yes, that's right. They don't do that as much
They
anymore.
don't do that. Occasionally in an old movie they do, but it didn't matter. You always knew who Judy Garland was.
That's right.
That's another, difference of our time.
It is.
A star didn't need to be a superstar because a star was a true star.
Yes, that's right. I'm thinking, forgive me, of the class yet again, and of playing in public, and of the whole concept of nervousness and discussing all of that. In Reflections from the Keyboard, I know John Browning says that he believes nerves are a result of holes in the preparation. Do you remember that remark?
Sure, and that's the remark of Paderewski and many people. It is always the reason you're going to fall apart. It is a hole.
Okay.
When I fall apart in that fugue, there's a hole somewhere.
All right. And so you think the person who's most secure, do you think John Browning is arguing that he's able to get to a state of such confidence that because we know that he was notorious for his ruthless preparation. Was he able to eliminate the holes? Because you say that he could enumerate whether or not he made 3 wrong notes in a gigantic romantic work or 4.
Stephen Mayer said he watched John Browning practice, and there was never even an edge of a possible dirt. It was always so...
In the dead center of the keyboard.
Yeah, he watched it into the keyboards when he was practicing. No, John had no... Even though he said 3 weeks away from the stage, it's like I've never been there before.
Yes.
There's no way of eradicating. It's so big. It's just so... Am I screaming?
Not at all, no.
It's so big, the adventure of you on stage.
Yes.
So much bigger than, you can improvise any word that you miss if you wanted. I don't think Marlon Brando's as great as they say.
I agree with that.
I don't think so. I don't think... I like James Mason has much more talent, much greater voice.
What a voice.
Yeah, Brando's voice is nothing compared to James Mason, who could act many, many roles, and
Yes.
he was a real actor.
He was.
Dirk Bogarde was a real actor. The British are real actors.
Mhm.
The Americans? Well, they just, yeah, I'm going to go to Hollywood. Maybe they'll like my face.
Mhm.
That's not the love of acting.
Mhm.
The love of acting has to come from the love of Shakespeare. You want to get out there and do Julius Caesar.
Mhm.
So I think I had more of a purity than Montgomery Clift, who drives me crazy. I can't stand him.
I know what you mean. Now, what's an example of a Montgomery Clift movie where you really feel that reaction?
Everyone. I mean, the guy he's not a good cowboy. You know, in the last one with Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable, they stand out, not him.
The Misfits.
The Misfits,
Yes.
1961, I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Francis Romano, I don't know if you agree. I would love you to be here and, just put your 2 cents in.
How about Montgomery Clift in terms of the latent panic he has to show in
He's good.
A Place in the Sun?
Yeah, but it's conventional talent.
Okay,
That's
all right.
Place in the Sun. Shelley Winters is actually better.
Well, yes, because she certainly makes one feel what would the liability be if you were then obligated to her and then all of a sudden run into the opportunity of Elizabeth Taylor.
Absolutely, and think of the idea of her part, knowing that she has to go against, the world's most famous actress.
Right, and she certainly plays it to the dowdiness to the hilt in that movie.
She does. She's a true actress.
Yes.
A real actress, while Elizabeth Taylor learned a lot about her craft. She was an early starter. She was a prodigy, and she was a beauty. And what do I remember about Elizabeth Taylor? Not her voice, no. I only remember the beautiful violet eyes. And I remember Norman Rockwell in an interview said, I can't stand his work, but he said, Elizabeth Taylor will be at the peak of her beauty at 30. And I said, oh, I'm going to watch when,
Yes.
And she was. But she became so horrifying in the later years because she was a caricature now with her makeup and facelifts and so forth. You've got to leave your being alone. Please age gracefully. That's an art, isn't it?
It is, yes. David, I can't help but notice we're speaking of movies, and nature again has given you almost a Cecil B. DeMille lighting, as if the light of God is on your person, and I again am half in shadow, half in light, as if there is a ambiguity to everything I'm saying, but look at the purity of your utterance.
The hands look small there, the fingers, they're not, My father had the most beautiful hands. My mother had little hands, nice looking, not bad, but my father's hands I would have loved to have had, and it would have helped my piano playing.
Were they of a greater span?
A greater span because I have webs here.
Oh, okay.
And so Leopold Godowsky was at a party. You know the story, I'm sure. This is one of the great technicians that ever lived.
Yes.
As music is really valuable, music technically and musically, and so he was at a party and he had very small hands. He's one of the greatest technicians that ever lived.
Yes.
And Hoffman had very small muscular hands. And a lady said, how could you and Hoffman play so wonderfully with such small hands? Who knows, maybe she was at a Rachmaninoff recital the day before, and she saw these giant hands. Anyway, he answered this way, and it's an immortal answer. He said, Madam, whoever said that you play the piano with your hands? And yet I will now disagree with the great Godowsky and say, I wish I had my father's hands. It would have been a little easier.
I understand, yes.
You do play the piano with your hands.
Yes, I think he probably also meant a spiritual kind of hand.
Of course he
did.
Yes. Of course.
But what a man. What a dazzling thing simply to open any of his scores and to see the unexplored frontier of distribution and the layouts.
Oh my God! Thank God you understand that. Yeah, the layouts, the distribution. This is one of the greatest piano minds that ever lived. He didn't care about orchestra or violin and he was the piano genius. He extended. I mean, if I were teaching today with a 12-year-old prodigy, I would begin him today on the Godofsky 22 etudes for the left hand only.
Based on the Chopin etudes.
Yes, based on the Chopin etudes. And I would have that boy be the greatest virtuoso in the world.
Yes.
If I had to have him learn one measure a week.
Have you ever spent any time with those?
No.
I talk about time either
teaching them, yes, once in a while. No.
Okay.
Well, go on, please.
I was going to say, whether or not it's time squandered or time in awe, I did log a lot of time with Opus 10 number 2, the chromatic one, rendered for left hand alone.
Well, yes.
I could only crawl through it, but I remained in awe of the conception, again, of the layout and the notion that it was as if a frontier had been found in a finite space, as if one lived in a house and then found that there were interior rooms that one never knew were there. That's what it seems when one looks at his layouts. The implication of counterpoint in terms of how notes will pass from hand to hand. It's shockingly, it's an undiscovered country still.
Yes, on my radio show a couple of days ago, I had the slow movement of this gigantic 1-hour sonata.
The piano sonata. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's incredible.
Yes.
Many things. I mean, there's not going to play it on a concert. I'm not going to give my recital program away. That's why it's just too long,
Okay.
But I'm so glad that you and let's go back to our audience. You wow. That.
See, we may have to in the future have a different location. It looks like we've never had the camera running at this time in this room.
Oh, I love the way I look.
Yes, I'm telling you, the Cecil B. DeMille 10 Commandments lighting is on you.
Look at that.
Yes, it's kind of remarkable.
I like it.
Yes.
Well, where am I coming through?
You could maybe back up a bit, and I think you'll come out of it.
My hair is no longer even gray; it's white.
There you are.
So
okay.
I know. It's just having fun. But, dear audience, we are talking now, and every pianist should look into him in one way or another. And I know that I don't want just pianists to listen to our show. I want everyone, because each idea has something larger than just the music we're talking about in it. Leopold Godofsky, whom we are talking about, is a pianist born in 1870, and he died in 1938. And he was possibly the greatest technician that ever was. And his music shows you a new chapter in world pianism.
It does.
And as Earl Wilde said, it made him so nervous when he put on one of the 3 great paraphrases or some little Godofsky pieces, because that really brought out the fear in him.
Not saying something.
But everything is so exquisite, and Godofsky himself said, "You fear wrongly. This is so exquisite that if you practice it correctly, it'll all flow. Even the Chopin etudes that I'm making so much more difficult in your mind are really, I'm making them less difficult."
That's in the preface. You're right.
Is it?
Yes, he says things to that effect, that he doesn't feel his music is difficult, that with basic application that it should be able to be learned by anyone.
I understand what he's saying there too.
Yes.
Marc-Andre Hamelin has a recording of
all of those.
Of all of those,
yes.
But I asked him about it, and he said he only knows really well 6.
Oh.
There's 50, I think 5.
Oh, he could have fooled me.
22 for the left hand.
Yes.
Oh yes, Hamelin's recordings are
Yes.
are splendid things. Marc-Andre Hamelin, the Canadian-born pianist who now is one of the world's most famous virtuosos. So please, Godofsky was a man that, as Arthur Rubinstein said, he just couldn't get enough of it. I mean, Rubinstein said, if I practice, think of it. Rubinstein, who was a fine,
I know what you're going to
real
say.
technician.
Yes.
Horowitz said, "You're a virtuoso." And of course he was. Nothing like, and everyone from Rachmaninoff to Hoffman to you name him, everyone said you had to hear him privately in his own home. Didn't care about playing for the greats, but when he came to play in a large hall and he had a great career until, let's say in America from about 1899. He was so inhibited that nobody ever heard him in public play the way he should have, because he feared, I'm sure.
Yes. So even he could find the edge of where fear would begin for him. But wasn't the remark of Rubinstein something to this effect, that even if he had 100 years, he couldn't gain his mechanism?
500, he said.
500 years. Okay.
If I practiced like Godowsky, even for 500 years, I could still not have his mechanism.
That's what
Something quite close.
You're very close to that, yes. That always really stunned me.
Oh, these are stunning concepts, aren't
Yes, they are.
About life itself.
Yes, it is.
It's not
In
just
fact,
the piano.
even for someone who doesn't know how to read music, I would submit to them, if they opened a work of Chopin and then opened a Godowsky paraphrase of it, they would see, not just because the page is blackened, but that there's some whole other realization happening in terms of, it's almost as if he renders the black and white key relationships, which of course are tactile in the sense of an elevation versus something that's very level, as if he equalizes all of those, because he forces one's thumbs almost completely to erase the black key as something to avoid. And I can see it in your face, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not able to master it, but it's as if he finally conquers the black-white key polarization. And
something's going on that I don't understand.
Same here.
It's so
yes.
big. It's so big.
Yes.
I'm so little.
I feel the same when I look at it, but I know, wow, there's something in there. There's a whole undiscovered America of consciousness that still remains for people to explore.
I think that's what Harold Schoenberg meant when he said that the piano for Godowsky was the philosophy of life itself.
I believe it.
And the piano is life itself. If you talk about it, philosophically,
yes.
There's no topic that does not relate to the way we live.
Yes, and he also stuns me in the literature that I've read about his habits and his working habits, that I know I crave utter solitude, not in an antisocial way, but in order to write or to practice, but that you agree with me, the literature seems to support that he was able to do these works best in a mixed family environment, with children, guests, oftentimes encouraged to be in the room while he was notating them. Have you read this? Am I right?
No, I never read it. I'd love to know where.
That he didn't really seek solitude for his prolificness. Everything seems convivial about him, even though what he's...
Well, he had good children too. I mean, in the sense that one was a vamp, a movie star, famous name.
In fact, wasn't Gershwin's sister married to one of his sons?
Yes, that's true too. And one of his sons was the inventor of Kodachrome color film.
Yes.
He encouraged them all.
Yes.
I don't remember how many children. But to me, the great tragedy for a man who loved to practice like that, that life was, he could sit and try to wait a chord for hour after hour. This was a kind of nervous system that was able to, as you say, he must have been able to turn off all things around him, where one of the great things in life is that you are obscure to your surroundings. I'm terribly maneuvered by my surroundings. They kill me. And as you see, every single smile of a Betty Davis will bother me or enchant me. I'm so volatile in my emotions that it's not easy on me.
Agreed, and that's what I think is so remarkable about Godowsky, at least from the lore I've encountered. he seems to be able to conjure almost the Thoreauvian fable of the solitary man in a collective environment. So that someone like a Thoreau, as much as I admire him, seems to need control of his environment to be creative. And Godowsky seems to make a leap beyond that. He seems to be absolutely, well, as Melville says in the wonderful sermon in the beginning of Moby Dick, notwithstanding the environment, always his own inexorable self.
Mm. There's something so important for all of our friends out there who I hope will put us on their links.
Oh yes, if people
say something about that.
Yes, if people are willing to share and like and disseminate our program via their social media, we would be most grateful.
And we say that because we are going up a little bit each week.
Each week, ever so slowly. So we are now on YouTube, Substack, and now Spotify as well.
The dog I had when I was a child, or it was my uncle's dog,
yes,
he was called Spot.
So you genuinely had a dog in your life that was named Spot?
Yes.
Wow, so the enfeebled Spot.
A terrier, yeah.
Okay.
White with
You've
spot.
never referenced Spot before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see him with my uncle driving me,
yes,
my brother in his Pontiac convertible.
Okay.
With Spot in the back.
Okay.
Or with his tongue out.
Yes.
Oh, God. Godowsky's tragedy. He was in London to record all of the Chopin nocturnes, which was a big assignment on, in 1931, 32. There were not any recordings of anything really in bulk or in cycle. Electric recording began in I think 24 or 5, right?
I'm not sure.
And he suffered a stroke in London. He recorded 12 of the 19 nocturnes. He was ill, and he suffered this, and he couldn't go on. Worst of all, certainly there was no pianist that did not consider him great. He could not any longer compose or practice the piano. For about 7 years, he was done in by the stroke. The man who could practice 18 hours a day non-stop.
Yes.
There are so many things bigger than us, huh?
Yes, and the piano is enough for things that are bigger than us. That's what its miracle is.
Yeah. I think that's it. Say it again.
Well, there are so many things that are bigger than us, as you said, and I said, well, the piano is enough to be bigger than us. We don't need to look far to find something bigger than us. It's right in the parlor.
It's in the parlor, the piano.
Yes.
There was a moment in time when a house was not a house, or certainly not a home.
Yes.
Without its piano.
Agreed.
Please, if you can afford a piano, buy one. And I don't mean these fake, what do they call these?
A digital piano.
Those digital pianos. I'm talking about find one. They're everywhere. And bring it home and start practicing. Right hand, the Bach C major, 2-part invention.
Yes, and didn't Busoni spend a whole summer just on that once to rebuild himself? Am I right?
I don't know, but I in that case, I would say it would be correct for anyone.
I mean, the Busoni that we know, who was already this titan, wasn't there a period where he decided he was going to almost reset himself as a pianist? And I just remember, because he has an edition of the 2 and 3-part invention.
With so many annotations.
With a lot of annotations. And I feel like it was either there or somewhere else that I remember that someone reminded some young person who didn't have enough humility about what they should be spending their time on, that even Busoni was willing to take a summer and simply start again with the first of the 2-part inventions.
What was it, Jack, about the time element of life then? For they do things that we would be terrified of doing because it's just going to be too much time.
I don't know.
We
I know what you mean.
we don't have time. I keep reading the letters of Liszt or the letters of this one or that one or George Bernard Shaw. What they got in a day. Sometimes they would take 2 days because letter writing was so important in the communication of the human race. That, you know, I just read that Liszt took two full days in writing 12 letters, of which he drafted them first.
Right. Often producing copies, I understand, sometimes, without even the aid of an amanuensis. So, I don't know. Because I know exactly where I think you're going with this. We would seem to have every benefit now to escape the menial, and yet they seem all the more prolific in everything, even in joy and sorrow.
Even in joy and sorrow.
They knew how to use even their illnesses better.
Oh, they did. They did.
Yes.
I'm always stunned. Because to me, how could Schubert in 15 years write what he did and die at 31? He starts at 15. Mozart starts at 5, but he's not really the great composer until he's 19 and 20. It's a creative span of nothing.
It is almost nothing, yes.
You would think that Marriage of Figaro would take 5 years.
I don't know the answer to that.
Write, subscribe, or whatever you do. Tell us, and please don't miss one edition of No Art, No Life. Jack Cole is right here. Say goodbye to them.
I say goodbye and God bless until we see you again. And David Duvall is right here.
Till we see you again, bless you and keep you. David Duvall, Jack Cole.
Thank you, David. Till next time.
Till next time.